Hello and welcome to the Flourishing Introvert Talks with me, Jo Rawbone. This is the podcast that celebrates the natural gifts of introverts so that we can flourish in all situations. Episode 272, The Power of Asynchronous Collaboration. In case there's any confusion, what I'm talking about here is when silence is not avoidance, it's strategic. Let's just start by acknowledging something that most of us feel, but if we do say it out loud, it gets swatted away like an annoying fly. And that is keeping up with real-time conversations, constant meetings, pinging group chats, Slack threads, Teams messages and instant decisions. It's exhausting, even if you're good at it. Especially if you're expected to be good at it. And that doesn't just apply to introverts, but we're more impacted than most, I'm hearing. That's because it can feel like a full-time job on top of your actual job. I mean, when are you supposed to do the work you're paid to do? Actually, one of my clients in a recent group coaching session told me the answer to that. She said that she has to do her work in the evenings as there's no time during the day. That, my friends, is simply wrong, and yet I bet some of you are nodding along despondently thinking, me too, Jo, me too. If you've ever felt like your best thinking never sees the light of day because the conversation moved on before you could contribute, this episode is especially for you. Because today we're talking about the power of asynchronous collaboration. And no, it isn't about avoiding connection, but it is about using the tools that create space for thought through meaningful contributions. We're so used to the real-time hustle being framed as the most responsive, most effective, most professional way to work. Heck, it's even one of the reasons that leaders are citing for why their people need to return to the office. But what if we told the truth? That this approach is excluding huge numbers of brilliant thinkers, that it's costing business and individuals more than it's benefiting them. So in this episode, I'm making a case for a smarter strategy, and I invite you to imagine a different rhythm, a more human pace, one that doesn't just work better, it delivers greater productivity and it feels better too. But here's the caveat. To make it work, you do need to be more organised, more planned, and a better advocate for yourself. So let's explore the power of asynchronous collaboration where using the pause and making good use of silence signals strategy, not ineptitude. I'm hoping that this episode may end up as a bit of a rallying call, especially now the world is actually tipping even further in favour of the extrovert ideal. But beware. If you're rubbing your hands in glee, thinking this is your free pass to avoid communication and connection, it's not. It's an invitation to reimagine how we collaborate, especially for those of us who think deeply, contribute meaningfully, and don't always thrive in the think out loud, instant gratification way of working. Whether you're an introvert or someone who processes before they speak, or an extrovert who leads or works with people who operate this way, stick around. There's insight here for everyone. Let me name the problem as I see it. We've been sold the idea that real-time communication is the gold standard, fast, responsive, efficient, but what we get is speed over substance. And let's be honest, what it often becomes is reactive, surface level and exclusionary. Got a question? Interrupt someone and ask it right now. Saves me having to think for myself or become more resourceful. Need a decision? Initiate a Teams call even when the other person is showing as busy. Want input because you're scarily close to a deadline you overlooked? Drop it in Slack and buzz them at the same time so that everyone knows you're waiting. It's fast, it's dynamic, and people pride themselves on what feels like progress. But at what cost? When we rely heavily on real-time dialogue, we create environments that demand constant availability, constant readiness, constant performance. I'm sure you've experienced that. Here's an example. Someone sends you an email which you don't immediately look at as you're head down in flow. Then the phone goes with the person saying, "Have you got my email?" What the f... To me, this shows abject disregard for someone's planning and prioritisation and is ridiculously self-oriented. Me, me, me. So the costs are enormous. When speed is king, we lose out on depth. The same voices get heard. Quick, sticking plaster ideas dominate, but nuanced perspectives get edged out. And here's how this plays out over time. Projects move forward without full perspective, leading to mistakes, missed opportunities or rework. People stop contributing, not because they don't care, but because they don't feel heard. Valuable ideas stay trapped in draft emails, unspoken thoughts or unsent messages. Stress levels rise as people feel pressured to be on at all times and can't get into flow. And the really intolerable consequences this creates? Burnout, especially but not exclusively for introverts. This kind of environment is overstimulating, draining, and frankly, demotivating. The pressure to respond instantly, to appear engaged, to keep up with every thread, it chips away at our cognitive bandwidth and emotional resilience. You might even start questioning yourself, self-gaslighting even. If your workplace is built around fast-talking meetings, brainstorms on the fly, or decisions made in chat threads while you are focused on deep work, you know the feeling. Here's a few of the frustrations I hear from my clients over and over. I couldn't get a word in. By the time I'd gathered my thoughts, the decision was already made. I felt behind because I wasn't constantly online. I shared something later and got told we've moved on. It's like if you're not instant, you're invisible. We lose nuance, we lose depth, we lose people, and the business suffers. Not that many leaders would accept this as a reason, though. Ready for the reframe? I know I am. What's needed is a strategic shift that requires the accompanying mindset shift, and it starts with each of us. Asynchronous communication isn't a fallback or a workaround or second best. It's a strategic power move, intentional, inclusive, and impactful. In my work with clients, teams, and collaborators, we use asynchronous tools daily because it means we can be more productive. Voice notes, shared documents, recorded updates, OneNote collaborations, Telegram messages, every tool we use gives people the space to engage in their own way. Some of my team love to talk it through live. Others drop brilliant reflections in shared documents at midnight. And honestly, our best breakthroughs come when no one's being rushed or drowned out. Collaborating asynchronously is not about hiding. It's about being able to contribute when your message is ready and strong. Let me say that again for those that need to hear it today. Choosing when and how you contribute is not avoidance, it's self-leadership. So as I draw this episode to a conclusion, let's stop colluding with the prevailing message that speed equals value and silence must be a dereliction of duty. It's time to dance to a different rhythm, to set a different pace, one fit for purpose in this day and age that respects humanity, not just vanity. Being silent doesn't automatically mean you're opting out. What it may well mean is that you're opting in for intentional processing, clarity, and valuable contributions at your own pace. It's demonstrating leadership without noise, without helicoptering or snow ploughing that I'm hearing about now. It's time we normalised this, not just for we introverts, but for the very teams we're leading and shaping, for an inclusive future that we want to build and be part of. Your slower pace, your layered thinking, your ability to pause and reflect before responding are strengths to be honoured. And when you use asynchronous tools intentionally, you create room for your best thinking. And you invite others to do the same. And let's face it, the world needs more of that. So step off the hamster wheel. Say what needs saying when you're ready, not just to tick a box that proves I contributed. Although it is professional to send a holding message so they know you're not ignoring them. What you're doing whilst you're quiet is incubating your brilliance. And look, if they can't handle that, well, as we Brits tend to say, bless their cotton socks. So what can each of us do? I say it's time to be braver and make process suggestions. So here are a few ideas to get you started. Number 1, propose sharing updates in writing before your next meeting. Number 2, start using voice notes to share your contribution when it's ready, not rushed. Number 3, remind your colleagues that you may need a little time to reflect before responding, and that it's not disengagement, it's respecting difference. Number 4, give yourself permission to step back from the need to be instantly available and communicate those boundaries assertively. Number 5, finally, how about you mute the intrusive tools until you've finished your deep work? That's radical, I know. You know by now that my MO is to start small just as long as you start. So I don't mind which of those 5 you pick, or indeed if you start another way. But start. As always, I'll be reflecting and nudging alongside you, sharing the real-time lessons from my own work, my own team, and the client challenges we're navigating right now. We're all evolving together as we're all work in progress. Thanks for staying to the end of my rallying call. And remember, silence isn't absence when it's strategic. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, then please subscribe, rate us and leave a comment, because we know that that helps other people find the podcast. And if other people find us, other introverts can flourish.
You are listening to an Intentional Media Production podcast.